do this. Boom, there we go. LinkedIn Live, Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support LLC. It's the very first time that we're doing this. So I hope some people will start joining in, throw some comments, do anything that we got to do so that we can help you out. As I always say, I am the dancing monkey. I'm the one that gets to go through and do these things and do a lot of information, learn a lot of things. Been doing this for 25 years. With doing this over 25 years, you get to learn a lot of different aspects, meet a lot of different people, and through that, this is all opinion-based. Some of it's factual, some of it's opinion-based, some of it's based on the years of doing this. But hopefully, through this, we'll be able to go through. Hello. See, we got some people following us from LinkedIn. We've got some people following us on YouTube, which is great. Hopefully over time, this will expand even further. But without further ado, what I want to do is I want to jump in and start talking about our subject matter for today. Dealing with our subject matter today, what we're going to be looking into is we're going to be talking about importance of having the right team for a successful end-to-end EDI project. A lot of things go into play there. A lot of things are happening and occurring when you're choosing that right team. You know, the biggest things that you always have to do is you want to look at their experience levels. You want to know, how many have you done? How many have you dealt with? If they start to stutter, they start to, and they don't speak factually, well, guess what? Most of the time, that person's not being honest. That team member's not being honest. Or, hey, listen, maybe they'll be very upfront and they'll be like, hey, we've only done 2, but we've learned a lot of things over those 2. It's been a long time since I've done 2, in the thousands, and been a part of a lot of projects, have a lot of projects going on. But there's a lot of things that you need to do. Is you need to make sure that, if you're looking externally or you're looking internally, or however you're weighing it, you need to understand how successful has they been. Has your team ever handled a full EDI system implementation from beginning to end? That means, have you interacted with the trading partners? Have you looked at going ahead and figuring out the business process, talking to all the different departments? Have you done those things? Has your team done those things? Has the external team done those things? And if they have, what have they learned? What can they tell you? What's the good, the bad, the ugly? What are all the things that are going on with that implementation? As you're progressing on and you're going ahead, yes, I can see your comments. Comments do show up. So anybody that's asking on LinkedIn or YouTube, yes, I do see your comments as they come across. I see them in my session here as we're doing a live. So ask those comments. I'll try to address them either during or at the end, and we'll go through any of the comments, any of the questions that you have out there. But definitely, yeah. So has your team or has anybody else outside of your team worked through setting up end-to-end as successful? And what has been the bumps that they've learned? What have been the hard things that they've learned? Every implementation is different. I don't care who you're dealing with. I don't care if it's all in the retail segment, it's all in transportation, logistics, healthcare. It doesn't really matter. Every one of them is different. Every one of them is unique because your company's unique, your product's unique, your claims are unique. Everything is unique. It's individual to you. What ERP are you using? What WMS do you have interacting? What TMS do you have interacting? What are all the different pieces that are moving along inside of there? What are things that you may not be thinking of, but maybe your warehouse person knows about? So you have to, you can't just bring together one person that you think that's your chief operating officer that's going to go, oh, well, I know everything of a company. Okay, have you been in every single discussion of those products that are being sold? Do you understand the terms of the invoices? Do you understand what type of communication is being set up? Have you ever done API interactions? Well, I've read a book on it, or I've seen videos, or I've watched this guy, Jim Gonzalez, and he's told me all about it. Well, yeah, telling you and going through it are two totally different things. Going through it is a whole nother ball of wax. So as you go through it, as you progress through it, and you do your project management, and you do all of those things, and you outlay it, do you use spreadsheets? Do you use smart sheets? Do you use monday.com? Do you use any of these different products to put all the information together? I don't know. Ask them. If they've done it, they can speak to it. I can speak to all the different products that we've used. And have we found any that's perfect? No. When it comes to CRM, project management, all of those type of things. Some are bloated, some are not. But I can speak to the exacts, and I can go through all of that. So you want to go through, you want to ask, has your team ever done and handled full system implementation from beginning to end? And understand what they've dealt with, what they've done, and all of those fun things. What are some of the questions that your team has to ask to evaluate their EDI knowledge? Well, what's a purchase order? What's an invoice? What's a claims? How would you process it? When you make that connection into NetSuite, or you make that connection into QuickBooks, how would you go about doing it? Have them speak to realistic situations and speak to the details of it. Speak to what is their exact process for reaching out to these different trading partners, through going through all of this different things that are a part of an implementation from an end-to-end EDI project. Again, if you find that the people stammer or don't have answers or any of those things, it's okay, but understand that they got to be realistic, because end-to-end projects, they can be a true pain. And the questions that you need to ask is, have they set up FTP? Have they set up an AS2? What products do they recommend? Have they only dealt with the products that they're recommending? Like if you're talking to a Clio rep, and again, I'm going to throw some names out there, we're live. Have you talked to a Clio rep? Has that Clio rep actually talked you through how their product works compared to others and given you real life scenarios? Has the people at SPS or TrueCommerce or EDI support, can we talk to what exactly those things are doing, or are we just salespeople? Well, guess what? A salesperson is there to sell. They're there to get you to sign on. They're there to get their commission and move on from there. They're not there to tell you of the other products and the pros and cons and why one product is better than another product. So as you're going through and you're evaluating their EDI knowledge, they should be able to speak to that in a realistic form. Listen, I've gone through and I've set up Boomi, and here's some of the pitfalls that I've run into. Here's some of the pitfalls that me and my team have run into. I've gone through and I've used monday.com for project management, and this is what we've run into. And here's the good things, here's the bad things. I'm throwing these products and these names out there because they're things that you're going to run across when you're doing true EDI projects and maintaining maps and configurations, and how do you store the mapping guidelines? Where do you go through and have a breakdown of all the trading partners, all the level of communications, the versions that they're using, the different documents that are flowing back and forth, all of those things? How do you maintain it? How do you look at it? So if they're knowledgeable and they know what they're doing, they'll be able to answer those questions. They'll be able to speak to those things that are going on and the products that they've utilized. Did you know project management and business process are two big factors of successful EDI? I always tell people this. Project management is by far the biggest thing and the biggest need in an EDI project to be successful. Whether it be done by multiple people, a assigned individual, any of those different aspects, project management needs to be there and it needs to be handled successfully. If they can't communicate, they can't email, they can't text you, they can't respond to you in time, well, that's going to lengthen the time of your end to end. Project management is huge, whether you're adding one trading partner, 1,000 trading partners, doesn't really matter. If they can't communicate and they can't give you a breakdown of where the project is at any given time, there's an issue. If they can't relate this information to your trading partners or to your other team members, and you can't share it because maybe you're the focal person at your organization, well, guess what? You're going to look bad to your executive team. You're going to look bad to other people that you need to answer to. And if you are ultimately the decision maker because you're the owner, well, hey, guess what? You're going to look bad to all of your customers. You're going to have a bad relationship with all of them. So whether people believe it or not, and they think, oh, well, I am going with this package because it is cheaper. That's great and all, but are you handling project management? Have you ever project managed EDI? Have you ever done an end-to-end project where you've worked with all the different staff and team members and handled different consultants and their quirks and how we all work? I mean, that's the fun part of this, is trying to figure out and be a psychiatrist and get everybody, as I call it, herding the cats, because they all move in different directions, have different mindsets, do all of those things. So project management isn't simply typing and being a scrum master. That's great. You know the fundamentals. Anybody can read a book. Anybody can go to class. To do it in the real world is a whole different ballgame. Just because of what I've learned from Microsoft isn't exactly what I'm going to learn from Oracle or what I'm going to learn from any of these other big entities that are out there. And I'm not using this as a name game and throwing names out there for any reason other than to let you understand that, listen, all of this comes down to, what have you done to handle this? Would you take all of your finances and hand that to somebody that just graduated from college as a financial advisor and say, hey, here, I'm 75 years old. I need you to handle my finances because I'm retired and I don't want to go to work, and I need you to do this, and I need you to do this successfully, even though I know you've never done it before. I don't think most people would do that. So what I'm getting at is I'm letting you know that project management is huge. It's a factor. It's whether you're going to take on or the people you're bringing on is going to take on. It needs to be really thought about and understood who's done this before. This is why you look at implementations that go from, oh yeah, we say we can do it in 30 days to now it's 6 months to a year and it's still not done because nobody is herding the cats. Nobody is keeping people focused on getting the task done. Well, is that your role? Is that who you've hired role? Whose role is that? Another is business process. Business process is huge. What terms do you need on invoices? What ship to addresses should you be using when the sales order is created? When you're processing the claims, what information is mandatory for it to go through the various processing sites to get you successfully being paid? What's the business process to do all those things? I was literally just talking to a client this morning, or I should say a prospect, not a client yet. Talking to a prospect, talking about things, engaging, going about pay to scan, figuring out what are they going to do as far as handling this manually, wanting to do it in an automated situation, all of those things. If you haven't figured out your business process and you haven't done the steps of laying out how you envision this working, yeah, have somebody help you lay it out, have somebody help you figure it out. But that business process is huge to the success of an end-to-end process when it comes to EDI, because where's the ball going to bounce, or where's the document going to flow coming into your system and back out, or going out from your system and back in? You need to understand these things. And I always say to people, listen, if I can figure it out from a manual situation, I can figure it out and automate that. If I don't have it figured out from a manual situation, what am I doing trying to automate it? Because all I'm going to do is cause issues. It's like the old saying goes, if there's issues on the back end, you better figure out where they're coming from on the front end, because there's something that's starting that issue. Typically, it's in a business process. And if that business process is ever evolving and ever changing, then everybody needs to know that from an EDI standpoint. Then it's, hey, listen, we're not locked in. We have to figure out the business process. We have to do these things because we're not 100% sure of how we're going to handle printing labels, or how we're going to handle packaging the goods, or how we're going to handle notifying the various team members when product is flowing, or when notifications come in, or who needs to go on those notifications. It's the old school programming flowchart business process. Figure out how it's doing. I love that I make some people laugh. I get to look at the comments and see that the things I talk about, they're funny, and we can laugh about them. I say them in a joking way. The reason I do that is because they are serious and they are huge. EDI is a huge part of your business once you start doing it. You start automating it and you start saving money. Like I said, I talked to a prospect this morning. We were talking about things brand new to EDI. Hopefully we work everything out. But the beauty is, when I gave him the numbers of what it would cost, A, to get a platform to start doing EDI, B, what it would cost roundabout to implement it, and we started talking about how this would automate, he already had it figured out in his head. Listen, it's going to cost me $40,000 to have somebody brought on staff to manually do that process. And you're telling me in the first year, it's actually going to cost me less, and it's a full custom system, and it does our business process. It's not an off the shelf. Well, that's huge. So every year going forward, I pay my subscription, I have you guys as backup, and I'm actually saving money because I don't have to have somebody on staff. Not that I want to see people not get jobs, but again, those efforts of what we can do through EDI and through automation can put those resources to doing more for other organizations and get payments flowing faster, do all of those things. So business process is huge. All these pieces are intricate pieces that are a part of an end-to-end EDI solution, and project management and all of it. Again, project management, I hate to harp on it so much, but whether it's one trading partner or it's 1,000 trading partners, if you don't have project management in place, you're gonna fail. As an organization, EDI Support LLC is my baby. Everybody that's on my team, I truly believe in my team. I love my team members. I happen to be the face, the leader, whatever. As I always tell my wife, she might be watching. I don't know. She's actually the one that runs everything. She's the boss. I get to be the boss outside of the home. She takes care of everything else. Anyways. So with all of that being said, the big things to do is evaluate what they've done, what's their knowledge, figure it all out. You want somebody that's going to be honest with you. You want somebody that's going to be straightforward. You want somebody that's going to tell you the cons of going with them or going with their solution or doing any of those things. But you also You just want them to be on your side. So with that, I can see, there's some hellos. There's a couple comments, not really any questions that have been put out there, but hey, this is our first time doing this. So hopefully over time, and hopefully I'm going to get some people that'll come in, that'll join me on these sessions and do the live. I know it's scary because anything can happen while you're running live. But the beauty of it is we're here to talk, we're here to help, we're here to do anything that we can to pull back that veil so that people understand EDI and automation and what you can do through integration and how it can really grow your organization, help you to build and be long-standing. So with that being said, what I would love to do, I try to do this, 15 to 30 minutes. Looks like we're at 21 minutes. And again, I don't see any questions as of now, but hopefully over time, the reach will grow. People will have some questions. We'll go about going through things. And what I would ask you to do is follow us here on LinkedIn, subscribe to the channel on our YouTube. Hey, we even have a Discord group that you can join to keep learning from myself, my team, other people that are out there throughout the world. Get quick answers to your EDI and API questions. And if you need to, take a look underneath the event details section to see those links. But this is Jim Gonzalez, EDI Support LLC. I'm going to be signing out. If you have anything, you have any needs, don't hesitate to reach out. I can put you in a proper direction of working with different people that I know. You take care. You have a great day. You're all welcome to reach out and engage. Have a great day, everybody.